Hello, this is Jason P. Wilson, Zero and X-Force, and this is my comic pick of the week and honorable mentions for the week of November 9th, 2011, and today is the 11th. It is a Friday. And first up here is my pick of the week, and it is the Avenging Spider-Man #1 by Marvel. Now, there are a lot of reasons why I picked this for my pick of the week, but mainly for its fun factor. This is a fun book, and I really love it when a comic book just is written well and it's beautifully illustrated, but it's just fun. Now, of course, this wouldn't work for a lot of characters, but it definitely works for Spider-Man. I also love that Spider-Man is, with an assortment of characters, which seems to be a regular thing for the series. Now, first off, you turn the pages, it's beautifully done. You got spider webbing in the background between panels. Thought that was a nice touch. But what I'm really liking is you're getting these great splash pages. I mean, that is great. Big splash page, panel there on the side, action, so many places to look. This is going to look great in a trade. This is going to look fantastic in a trade. Definitely one I'm going to be picking up and giving to friends. Then you have great humor, like stuff here going on with this marathon. And of course, Jameson here just having his attitude about just everything. It's funny. Again, boom, another great splash page. I mean, they're just everywhere. And usually at this point, I'm seeing advertisements, but not in this book. Beautifully illustrated, just really pulls you into the action. And then we get a double page here of just the credits here. Now, that's pretty unique, but I really liked it. You know what? You're going to waste a double spread for just the credits? Well, it kind of works. You get a little Avenging Spider-Man, their names, and you get a little thing about Spider-Man here, and then whatever hero is with him for the issue or run or whatever. And this one being Hulk, Red Hulk, or like people like to call him Rolk. So I thought that was pretty cool. And then, again, you turn the page, and I'm just like, wow, this is really beautiful. I love the way the characters are designed here. And then moments like this, he needs a ride home. And everyone's like, not it, not it, not it. Because they don't want to take him home. This is a regular thing at the end. Who's going to take Spider-Man home? Because he doesn't fly. It's pretty funny. He's also young, and he has things to do. He's a kid. So, hey, who's going to take me home? And of course, Red Hulk here, he doesn't know what's going on, so he ends up being stuck with it. And thus the adventure begins. Really great way to start a Spider-Man adventure with humor. Love it. And then page after page of just awesome spreads, beautiful illustrations. There's just so much here to like. And there wasn't anything about this comic that I didn't like, and this has potential to become one of my favorite comic books. If it can stay this fun and just a breeze to just read and just enjoy, and these beautiful, every page I'm just like being attacked with beautiful images and beautiful colors, and just everything is vivid, and I loved it. Even moments like this, they just really get the coloring down well. Some of the colors are just glowing. And then we get to see what's going on down below the city. Of course, we see Mole Man here. And then we turn the page. And what? Mole Man's not in control. Yeah. I love this comic book, and it is a strong pick of the week. But that's not to say that there aren't other great comics out there. Because there definitely are. Here we get a nice little preview of upcoming comic book. But a great comic, and definitely worthy of anyone picking up. Especially a must if you're a Spider-Man fan. Next up here are my honorable mentions. And I would like to show another beautiful comic. This one done by DC. And this, of course, is Batwoman. The artwork is exactly what you would expect from this team. They do artwork in a way that really is just so unique. I love the amount of detail that they put in this book, always. Of course, we know this character that she's seen here. This is the character that I first read Batwoman go up against in the run that she had with Detective Comics. I love that story. In fact, I still need to pick that up on trade. But it's pretty cool to see this happening now with her ongoing. Again, look at these panels. I mean, these panels are just breathtaking. I mean, there's nothing standard about this art, and there's nothing standard about the way that the story is told, both in writing and in panels. Just look at the beauty of this. Again, this was very close to my pick of the week. It was just the fun factor, really, that made Avenging Spider-Man pick of the week for me. This was very close to being pick of the week. In fact, if I did ties, which I told myself I wouldn't, it would be a tie this week. But as you can see, every page is just an absolute pleasure. You know, if I'm going to recommend one Bat book, you would think it would be something with Batman in it. And if I could give you 2 or 3, then 2 of those 3 would be Batman. But if you're only going to read one Bat comic, you think it might be Batman by Scott Snyder, and that would be a great pick because it's a fantastic comic book. But this is such a uniquely presented story. It's so different that I would put this at the top of my list for recommending Bat books. I mean, look at the way that they do action. They don't break up, slice it up like you would think. You just have almost like a painting of multiple positions and actions in one shot, with a little, square or rectangle over the particular scene. So, it's just so fantastic. Just looking at this now, I'm thinking maybe it did edge out Spider-Man. But I'll stick to Spider-Man being my win. But, just this is definitely one of my favorite series, not only by DC, but by anyone. Absolutely a great comic book. And if you are not reading Batwoman, you are missing out on a fantastic story and some of the most beautiful artwork ever done. This is definitely a comic that has to be picked up on trade, whether you picked up the singles or not. Loving Batwoman, and definitely a must pick. Next up here is an honorable mention by Marvel. And I want to show right away some of the great stuff going on in here. There will be a little bit of spoilers, but I'll try not to spoil too much. Again, like I mentioned before, it's a crossover with the events of Peter Parker dying. You have here Peter Parker at some of his key moments towards the end of his run. And you're seeing where our now new Spider-Man was and what he was doing. And again, here, at this point in this story, he's gotten there too late. And, his issue here is he felt, if only I acted, if only I believed in myself sooner and my abilities, I could have saved Spider-Man. Spider-Man was someone that he looked up to. So it was his ultimate hero, and he had the ability to possibly help or save Peter Parker. And because he didn't believe in himself, he didn't do it. And so now that it's too late, it haunts him and it pushes him forward to be the Spider-Man, the new Spider-Man. Now, that for me is just really fantastic. I've been loving this series from the beginning, but I just love that moment because that's basically the Ben, Uncle Ben moment where, Spider-Man could have used his powers to stop the criminal, but he didn't, and in doing so, the person he loved more than anyone else ended up dying. Some great moments here. You have his interaction with Gwen, and this is just golden moments here. Again, it's really well illustrated. You even have a moments here with the funeral. He's actually at the funeral. Of course, a lot of people were. I like this moment right here. It's pretty great. And then here we have to remind you, he's still a young kid. He's drawing his Spider-Man costume. Familiar, right? Yeah, familiar, because this is similar to the way Peter Parker discovered what his uniform would be. I like the timing. It's around the time of course, Halloween. So he pulls out his Spider-Man costume, and you get this cool moment here where he's a kid and he loves Spider-Man. He wanted to dress like Spider-Man. So it's kind of giving him an idea of who he wants to be and what type of super costume he wants to have. So it's a beautifully written comic book that has fantastic artwork in it. Love this moment here. And if you're not reading this because it's not Peter Parker, you're really missing out on a great story. Really like this, and it's definitely my favorite Ultimate comic. Next up here for my honorable mentions is Batman and Robin, number 3. Now, if you haven't been reading Batman and Robin, I won't get into the story. I'll just show some artwork here. I'm really liking the direction that story has gone, though. And I'm loving the artwork. I think the tone, I love this right here. I think the tone is excellent. I think it's one of the better Batman and Robin story arcs thus far, including the run of the last volume. You have some bratty moments with Damian there. Alfred doing his best to teach him some things, but as we all know, Damian can be a pain. But I really love this here. Some great shots. And of course, some great moments with Damian just being a brat. But I have to say, I don't hate it when Damian's a brat. I kind of like it. I like it when he shows the person he can be. Those are my favorite moments. But I still like the I can beat anyone. No one can beat me. Even though that's not true, it's that cocky arrogance that's kind of fun. And you have great moments. Here's a Damian moment right there, shoving his face. Pretty funny. But definitely a really good series, and I'm definitely enjoying this. Here's actually a really good moment. This actually is a moment that I think is going to be really curious how Bruce reacts to this, because it's almost like a Jason Todd moment. In fact, there are a lot of things about Damian that have to be reminding Bruce Wayne of Jason Todd. And of course, we all know who that turned out. That turned out bad. So I'm really curious how he's going to be handling these Jason Todd moments of Damian Wayne, because he can't let Damian Wayne, who in a lot of ways is probably more in danger of going down that dark road. He has to be both a father and a mentor to get him on the right track. And those are my favorite aspects. But at the same time, you're getting some really great action, Batman style. And here's a great double spread there. A really good comic, and I definitely recommend anyone interested in Batman or Damian or anything connecting to that to definitely start reading Batman and Robin. All right, and I just wanted to show this real quick. For those of you who are thinking about picking up Marvel Point One, I do want to show some of the artwork here. Now, obviously, like I said, different stories, different writers, different artists. But I just wanted to turn some pages so you can get a little piece, so you can decide if this is something you want to read. This was a really cool story here. I like this. The whole thing going on with one of our favorite villains. Pretty cool. Here's a great double spread. Look familiar? Yep, she's coming back. I really liked, Phoenix / Jean Grey. I hope she goes back to Jean Grey, but she hasn't been just Jean Grey in a while, except for, when you're reading older throwback stories. Here's a really cool moment in this story, too. And then we switch it up here. The artist changed. Actually, I thought this was pretty cool, too. I like the moments in here. Again, I'm not going to spoil the story by telling you what's going on. I thought this was really cool. Yes, I agree with Manginoni. Really terrible name. Exterminated. Terrible name, but cool art and cool character concepts. But I really enjoyed this, and I think anyone who's mildly interested in the story or these beginning of story points should definitely pick it up. Now, if anyone is a Scarlet Spider fan, and I kind of am, you definitely want to pick this up, because you don't really see Scarlet Spider too often anymore. But now we get to see that we are going to have Scarlet Spider back, and he's going to be front and center. And this is definitely important starting point for the story to come. Really cool moments here. Classic Scarlet Spider. In fact, I've never seen him look I've never seen him look so good, and I'm really enjoying the beginning of this story arc for him. Really cool. So yes, any Scarlet Spider fans out there, it's a must pick up. Next story comes, and actually I like this one too. Love the artist. I've loved this artist on other things he's done. Beautiful panels here, and a very cool story. This is another one I think I might be picking up in the future, this story arc. Again, here's Doctor Strange. I always like Doctor Strange. I've read him the most recently, on the New Avengers, but it's been a while since I read that. So it was cool to have a nice little updated story with him in it. So yes, this is definitely something if you're interested in picking up. This is probably the biggest thing here. Of course, we all know Doctor Strange is a major part in the new Defenders. I'm really excited about this. I'm definitely going to be picking it up and hoping it's as good as it looks, because it has a lot of potential. Especially, with the whole things of Fear itself, you have members on the team like Red She-Hulk. She now has her power sword, and stuff like that really changes the character. So now this is the first time they're new selves on the teams. A really cool comic, and I would definitely recommend it. But just remember, it is a one-shot. So, with that said, those are my honorable mentions for both Marvel and for DC. And even though it was close, my pick of the week, Avenging Spider-Man #1. And with that said, those are my comics and honorable mentions. Curious if you guys picked any of these up, and if you did, which ones you read, and what you guys think of them. And with that, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.